Hey y'all, Geezer here. It's Wednesday. We're in the man cave. Slowly waking up. Prescott, Arizona. Sun Devil State. October 2nd, and it's going to be warm today in the mountains. And I'm looking at my channel, and I put on there that I was going to do silent videos to convey a message. And I haven't given you a silent video yet. So I apologize for making a possible erroneous statement. I have to blame my shadow for that. He or she has fallen down on the job, right? I want to give a shout out to YouTube and X and the social platforms and Reddit. I want to give a shout out to all of you out there who utilize that, who participate there, and who provide information to the rest of us, John Doe, Mr. and Mrs. John Doe public. I want to say thank you. Thank you for sharing your opinions. Thank you for sharing your knowledge. Thank you for sharing your insight. Thank you for sharing your comments, positive or negative. I know it's hard to say that, but thank you. Because without this type of community of video sharing, ability to post a short, ability to post a longer video, ability to have a channel to try to convey messages and information, none of us would be able to learn anything about anything. And granted, there's a lot of information out there. There's a lot of misinformation out there. But at the same time, the ability to do this and reach people that you might never see, hear about, or be able to reach, I think is the tool that we need. Just my opinion. I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you to everyone who does share information. And really, it's up to you or me to find the people who provide what you consider to be the right information. It's just like I just put on YouTube and I'm watching some gentleman over the pond in the UK talking about tents. Tents are could be a hassle. I know. I certainly know about putting tents up in bad weather, that's for sure. And he's talking about, trying out a tent again and giving a tent a second try. He's running into problems he's running into with an ultralight tent, and it's all good. It's all good. He's not from where I'm from, but he's dealing with something that I deal with. So he has my attention, even if it's brief. But I want to give a shout out to YouTube because I want to say thank you. YouTube helped me, through the use of YouTube videos, it helped me teach myself how to play golf. It helped me fix, at the time I had the car, the Honda Element. It was like a mechanical manual, but a video mechanical manual resource to help me fix the car. Rather than 1995 for advice, I would just watch YouTube videos. I had to watch, granted now, I had to watch a lot of videos until I found the mechanics who were actually sharing the information. Like, for example, I found a mechanic who said, your best friend to find out anything that's going on with your Honda Element underneath the carriage is going to be a ball peen hammer made out of steel, or a ball peen or a hammer made out of rubber, because you're going to have to smack. You're going to have to smack the hardware to see where the problems are. Now, it sounds crude, rude, archaic, but guess what? It was effective, because when I followed this, a couple of mechanics, men and women, when I followed their advice with these hammers, I located the source of my noise problem. I located the source of my defective equipment and parts that had to be replaced. And then following their replacement techniques, which was spot on, because they would say to you, well, when you get there, a ratchet and a screwdriver and a wrench might not work. You might have to take a Sawzall and cut it off. You might have to take a torch and burn it off. And then if you do this, you better be careful with this so you don't blow your car up. Make sure you cover this. They give you all the information that you need to perform the task. And that's what we want. That's what YouTube is beautiful, is perfect for. Just like here with my channel with knives and everyday carry and backpacks and sharing information that happens to me so it doesn't happen to you. And that's all I hope that happens. That I'm able to provide that. And you're able to provide that to me. That's all I want. So I want to give everybody a shout out. Thank you. Thank you to the people who follow me, because I never thought anybody would. So thank you, sincerely, thank you. And I don't know how to repay you for that, other than to say thank you. And I hope it's a smile, a chuckle, and whatever. You know, it's a wonderful place. And I know, I tell you I'm going to touch on a little bit of everything, and I do. It's like this thing with Pete Rose, a friend of mine and one of my best friends. We always talk about sports. He's like, well, what do you think about this whole thing with Pete Rose now? Well, he agreed to a lifetime ban. He's passed away. He's not alive. So a lifetime ban, in my opinion, is null and void. Put him on a ballot and vote. Put it to a vote. If they put him in, great. If they don't put him in, they don't put him in. We'll debate it for a lifetime. But despite it all, purely on talent, regardless of the rest of it, purely on talent, there's no denying. The all-time hitter. Consistency over 20 years. Think about that. It's consistency over 20 years facing a slew of pitchers, facing a slew of teams. Phenomenal hitter, switch hitter. Batting titles. How many hits per season? Average, 180, 200. Had the eye. Had eye-hand coordination, because without eye-hand coordination, they're not doing it. These great hitters are not going to be doing it. So, who's some of the greatest hitters of all time? Who's some of the greatest hitters you've ever seen? In my time, Pete Rose, Rod Carew, some of the Yankees. Bonds, Griffey, Mantle, Tigers, Cardinals. We go on and on and on. But that's baseball. That's a whole nother story, right? Oh, he bet on his team. Yeah, I understand. People took the juice, right? There's only one baseball player that his stats improved because of steroid use. There's only one. Of all the people that have been charged with steroid use, only one. And you could go look it up. And you know who I'm talking about. There's only one person who improved due to steroid use. And the stats don't lie, because the stats show you before use, and then you go look at the years after use. One person is Bonds. He's the only guy that benefited from the use of the juice. Right? Because what do steroids do? Do you know exactly what steroids do? I've taken steroids. I was prescribed steroids. Do you know why? I suffered a severe snake bite on my left foot. And my left foot wasn't responding. So they put me on steroids. And what happened? My foot responded. And I was able to recover at a very fast rate. That's what steroids do. When they prescribe them to you, right? Assist your body to recover from an injury. Or you can take steroids to enhance what some might say your performance. But there's only one person. By statistical data backing it up, there's only one person that was able to do that. It was Barry Bonds. His home run production was greater after being on the juice. And it's a fact. So you look at the Pocket Rocket, you look at McGwire, there's a whole bunch of people, right? But there's only one person that benefited. That's it. We could, I'm on YouTube here, touch on everything. And this is going to be a long video now, whatever you want to call it, rant, rave. It's just a shout out. It's a shout out to everybody. It's a shout out to the people who I was able to connect to learn how to play golf. A shout out to the people who follow me. Shout out to the people who question, who pass comments. It's a shout out to the people who have given me excellent recommendations. Metal Complex. Get a raccoon. You won't be disappointed. I'm not disappointed. One of my favorite knives. Prepared Wanderer. I got the sling bag that's going to solve your carry problem, geezer. It's going to solve it. I know you're not going to believe it, but it's going to solve it. Pull the trigger and you'll see. Thank you, Prepared Wanderer. I pulled the trigger and that's all I need. I don't need anything else. My shadow will talk about, well, geezer might get another backpack and I don't understand why. Right. I'm not getting another backpack. I got a sling bag. It takes care of it. I don't camp anymore. I don't hike anymore. Physical, medical issues impede me from doing that. I don't do that anymore. I wish I could. And I keep all the gear around here to sort of remind me get out there and go hike the mountains of Arizona and go take a trip back to Washington with your old buddies and go. It's all there. It's all down in the echo chamber. It's all in the closet. It's all in the bags. Is it going to happen? Probably not. It's just physically not possible. And it sucks. It bothers me. And when you can't do things that you're used to doing, you can't do things that you enjoy, when you can't do things that you like, love, and I don't have to explain it any more than that, because if you're in the same boat or you know somebody who's in the same boat, you fully understand what I'm talking about. You don't need me to keep telling you about it. You don't need me to give you a solid video. You don't need me to reference something. You know exactly what I'm talking about. I don't drive anymore. I love to drive. Had various cars, trucks. It was one of my greatest, what I consider to be one of my greatest freedoms, the ability to drive anywhere, at any time, whenever I felt like it. And I could go as far as the American roads would take me. There was no limitation. There was nothing impeding me from doing anything other than maybe construction. And even that you could work around. It's all over the United States in a car. I spent a lot of time in vehicles. I love to drive. I could drive Maritime Drive. 12 hours, 18 hours. I think the longest in a vehicle, with various stops, 36 hours I think it was, across America. Loved it. And what do I do now? Can't drive. Why? Because I have no feeling in my legs to know if my feet are on the feet, if my foot is on the brake or my foot's on the gas. When you lose that sensory perception in your feet, you can't drive because you're going to kill somebody besides yourself. That's why. I recognize that at a most unopportune time, after I took my wife to the airport a couple of years ago in Washington, and I couldn't get home. I had to pull over on I-5 and sit there until the state police of Washington pulled up, and I was fortunate that the trooper who pulled up to talk to me understood what was going on with me, because when I was telling him what was going on, he actually said to me, well, you have peripheral idiopathic neuropathy. I'm very familiar with it. And I'm like, well, how are you familiar with it? Well, I have an uncle that has it. And here's what I'm going to suggest for you to do to get home. And I followed his suggestion and I got home. And that's the last time I drove. Was 3 years ago. 2 years ago. 3 years ago. Yeah, 3 years ago. I have no problem sharing it. Because if you know somebody who has that condition, that's what's going on. And exactly what they told me in the diagnosis is what's going on with me. It's bad news. It's going to take me out at some point. Not now. As long as I keep it in check, I'll be all right. I have no problem sharing. I want to share with people. So I don't want you to get hurt like I'm getting hurt. Yeah, you're a novice with knives. You're not wearing your gloves all the time. If I would wear these all the time when I'm playing with these knives, playing, using, showing, videotaping, reviewing, whatever, comparing, if I would use these all the time, I would have no problem. But I don't use these all the time. Why? And why is that? I forget. I'm lazy. I can't find them. Like the other day, I couldn't find these. I found the other ones, right? But I need the ones, these have rawhide on them. And I need the ones with rawhide. The other ones are just straight cotton. The No Cry. The No Cry gloves are straight cotton. The mechanic gloves have some rawhide on the palm and on the fingers. If I wear these, I'm not going to get hurt. Okay? But see, these gloves I need for other reasons to have on. Because I fool around with the dog so that I don't have to get nipped by the big dog. Right? Because they nip you. They don't mean to nip you. It happens. I'm in a rocky, scrubby environment outside, so I don't want to get torn up by the outside. That's why I wear heavy-duty cotton pants when I'm outside. Anyhow, back to YouTube. Thank you. Thank you, YouTube, for providing this type of platform. Thank you, X, for providing a platform where we can engage with various people. Regardless what you're talking about. Thank you. And I share that under the political climate of the last 12 years, I have lost friendships. Now, some people will say to me, well, they weren't meant to be your friends to begin with. Well, I have to beg and differ because they've been childhood friends. But childhood friends lost over politics, I don't understand. I really don't. Because we were raised a certain way, we were opinionated a certain way, we carried on a certain way for a long time in company of each other, and then all of a sudden, boom. You're not a Democrat anymore, you're not a Republican anymore, you're not my friend anymore. Wow. Wow. Guess we're not tight. It's unbelievable. 6 friends, 6 besties, 6 of the crew. Didn't like it. Didn't like when they blocked me. Didn't like when they disowned me. And I certainly didn't like disowning them and blocking them, but you got to do what you got to do. Life's too short to be toxic all the time, right? Right. Okay, so Wednesday, I hope to give you some videos today. I don't know on what. I don't know what I'm doing today. We got the sling bag out. I got the other backpacks out. I don't even know why. There's really no reason to have these other backpacks out. My wife gave me a tote bag from Trader Joe's. I'm not going to walk around with a tote bag from Trader Joe's. I don't even know why she gave it to me. It's a trend. Not a trend. I said the trend is the sling bag. I don't know why you walk around with a sling bag. Well, honey, I'm carrying my phone, wallet, and keys, flashlight, multi-tool, and blade. And I got a little room for a few other things. First aid kit, mask, buff, signal mirror. Why am I carrying my father's signal mirror from World War II? I'm carrying that because I fool around with the animals, right? Because they can't stand the reflection, right? The cat chases it, the dogs chase it, and I want to see how far I can reflect the sun. That's why. All right, enough of this. Wednesday morning rambling. I need to give you some solid videos, right? I haven't done that. I haven't given you golf instruction. I don't even think you want to see golf instruction. Probably don't. But I need to do one of my golf instruction videos. I need to follow up on that. I had a guy tell me the other day he didn't believe that I actually taught myself how to play golf. So I asked him, I said, well, if you don't teach yourself how to do something, how do you learn to do something? I'm just curious, and I think it's a valid question, right? If you don't know how to do something, how do you teach yourself to do it? I asked the guy. I said, I'll give you an example. I said, years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, I started to get interested in woodworking. Okay? So I went out and went to Barnes and Nobles and I bought a woodworking handbook for beginners. And on page 1, the famous words were, start small to go big. That's what the words were. Start small to go big. Well, what did that mean? That meant we're going to teach you how to build a birdhouse. We're going to teach you how to build a little small shelf. We're going to teach you how to make a bowl. We're going to teach you how to make a spoon. We're going to teach you how to make this or make that. And then in the end, you're going to build a house. That's what it meant. Was the implication. Did that happen? No, I'm not building houses. But I started out small. I learned how to build a birdhouse, a bowl, a shelf, a wall, a table, a workbench, a piece of furniture, a lawn chair. Then I learned how to build a wall, learned how to build a porch, a railing, a gazebo. So I went from, like my father said, you went from a birdhouse to a gazebo. Think about that. You learned how to build a birdhouse. Then you learned how to build a gazebo. Then you learned how to put a wooden walkway at one of your houses. Then you learned how to build a porch outside. Then you were able to put all the shelving in your garage for your shop. You were able to build stands for your equipment. You've come a long way from your birdhouse. Start small, finish big. Then I learned how to jack up my house off the foundation, how to replace joists in my attic. YouTube, thank you. X, thank you. And a personal, sincere thank you to everyone, and I mean it, everyone that I have met on social media, on X, here. You've given me advice, you've given me criticism. Thank you. I certainly appreciate it. Till next one, we'll catch you.